I had to go back and I call her Big Eve and Little Eve. And I had to go back to Little Eve, who I just say that's her, not that she was little, but
Yeah.
Little Eve was in the marriage. And I had to go back and think like, what would Big Eve now free and healing do or say for Little Eve?
Hi, I'm Clarissa from Love Fearlessly. I want to tell you about the products we create with faith and purpose in mind. At Love Fearlessly, we design biblical affirmation cards, journals, and wall art to encourage you and keep God's promises front and center in your life. These are more than just beautiful items, they're tools to help you stay rooted in scripture, speak life over yourself, and create an atmosphere of faith in your home. Whether you're starting your day with affirmations, journaling your prayers, or decorating your space with God's truths, our products are here to remind you that His love and promises never fail. So if you're ready to bring more faith and encouragement into your daily life, check us out. At Love Fearlessly, we're here to help you live boldly in God's love.
What's up, Bravehearts community? This is Sean Heineman, your premier pre-engagement coach, back with another segment of It's Scary to Remarry, inspiring you to love fearlessly. My co-host, Aquila Maddox, isn't with us today, but she will be back with us soon. So, what's up, Q? But today's episode is a returning guest. Today's guest is a mother of two beautiful human beings and two fur babies. She's been a doula since 2019, attended and assisted over 200 births. We had her on the show before. Brave Arts community, let's show some love to Auntie Eve. How are you doing, Auntie?
I'm so wonderful. I'm so wonderful. How are you?
I am great. Last show was phenomenal. So, of course, I couldn't wait to
Yes.
have you come back again to discuss, um, I guess, a little more, I would say maybe a little more personal
Yeah.
topic with life after divorce. And of course, I've been there as well. It's scary to remarry, right?
Right.
But I want to jump into today's topic. Now, when we first met, you had the Love remix.
Yes.
Loved everything about it. Matter of fact, I don't know if I told you, but I have a couple that we met at the
Mhm.
Love remix, and we are this close to this day.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Yep. We are,
Very good.
we talk almost maybe, at least 3 times a week, maybe.
Oh, that's so fantastic.
Yeah, we travel back and forth and see each other. So because of the Love remix, we were able to find great friends. So that's just a testament of, what you've created. So
Thank you.
yes. So with that, I want to ask, how did you start the Love remix, and what was the inspiration behind it?
So, Love Remix was like I don't know. It was a combination. It was definitely a very big collaboration between my husband and I. We were going to marriage counseling, and it was group counseling with Jasmine Taylor and Kamal Taylor. They facilitated the therapy sessions in the Love Remix, and some of their team with Mocha Marriage. And so when we were doing the group therapy, my husband was like, about therapy. He wanted to do it, but we lived in Cedar Hill and they lived like out way in Frisco somewhere, right? And so it was every week for like 6 or 8 weeks. And every week we were going and meeting with this group of people. And he was like, I'm gonna do the therapy, but if we gotta drive to Frisco from Cedar Hill, we're going on a date also. So we would come to therapy and I would be all dolled up and ready, and everybody would be kind of like in sweatpants because you'd be crying. But we went out afterwards and it was actually so good for us to like talk about what we learned in therapy, kind of like let our hair down a little bit afterwards. Because as you know, therapy is tough. Like you're really peeling up some scabs and you're saying stuff that your partner doesn't really want to hear. And so we kind of got to talking and brains were clicking, and my husband was like, why don't people have stuff like this where you can go meet with groups, do therapy with other couples, because he was apprehensive about sharing stuff in front of other couples.
Sure.
He was like, but then afterwards, all the ladies, you love getting dressed up every week. I was like, I kind of do. And, the ladies can get dressed up and men get really nice and go out and have a good time. And he was like, what if we could put that like all together? And I was like, okay, and so we talked to Jasmine and Kamal, who had facilitated the group therapy, and kind of was like, we want to take this show on the road. And we collaborated together to find nice venues, since we're going to do it all in one place. We wanted nice hotels, a nice ballroom, you know, um, and really just kind of, it started off like a few little workshops and then a dinner. And we, graduated to a happy hour when you first get in, and a game night, and then, events throughout the day. And then at the end of the night, we would have a masquerade, or, the casino night. We had a few different themes. Each time would be a different theme. And then a brunch the next morning to, bid farewell from Friday to Sunday. And really, we needed therapy. And I was like, I know other couples need this. And, you know, Love Remix was really for Black couples, but we, accepted any. But Black people don't go to therapy. And so, me being like promoting mental health and wellness as a doula and all the things, I was like, no, everybody needs this. And really was in the process of trying to save my own marriage, and him being a fantastic party promoter and marketing person and knowing how to get all of that stuff going. It just worked both sides. I was able to really market to women more so, and like, what's going on with you and your husband? I know you need this. And he was able to do the marketing for like the big ball and get a good DJ, and make sure we had all of the things and pieces put together. And then Mocha Marriage came in and brought the therapy piece, and we did, those seminars all day. And it was like, this is like the best thing that ever happened. Like we have so much fun with the Love Remix. It's so much fun.
Yes, it
And
was.
I love to hear like that you and the other couples are still friends, because that was the goal, because you also never have couple friends. Like as a couple, you're meeting single folks, and it's like, I can be friends with my single friends that I've known for a long time, but when you're a married couple, to be friends with somebody single is usually a little bit conflicting at some
Yeah.
point, unless y'all been friends since you were like 12. And even sometimes they might be the worst ones.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, and again, it was one of the most memorable times uh for my wife and I at the time, because I think we were maybe married for maybe 3 years at the time. So the
Hmm.
remix helped us out tremendously. So
Yes.
yeah, so
Yes.
yep.
Blessing.
Oh, so looking back, what were some of the early signs that your marriage was headed towards divorce?
Um, well, I thought about this and thought about this. I feel like your own intuition,
Yes.
really, and it was within me. um you pray and you ask and you fast, and you're like, God, show me a sign. And God gives us signs,
Yes.
honestly, but I need like road closed to through traffic.
You need the yellow
Like not
tape
the
and
one that
everything.
has like where it switches to two lanes, like the one that just closed the whole road off. And I had small subtle signs that was like, is this going to work? Is this going to work? And um, some of my personality, some of his personality, like opposites, yes, great. And we did some great things and birthed beautiful baby, but it was like when you kind of felt like you were always trying, like you were always trying to figure out, um, well, if I do this, maybe, he'll love me more. Or if I do that, maybe we won't argue. Or, and truth be told, is like, can we start a business together and that make us get together better? Can we should I be a better housewife? Should I decorate the house better? Should our sex be better? Should I make it more spicy? Should I dress a different way? When you feel like you have to start becoming somebody that you're not, and not necessarily like you're a completely different person, but you're like trying to do things that maybe just naturally or in a relaxed state you wouldn't do. I feel like you're not really with your person. Compromise, yes. Like, oh, I know babe loves tight jeans. Okay, I'll wear tight jeans today. Yes, but like I'm always wearing tight jeans. I'm always trying to, wear my hair the way you like. I never wear anything outside of what you care for. I try, my best to make sure that everything that I'm doing is something that you like. That's not, to me, that's not being in love with somebody for who they truly are,
Mm.
and somebody loving you for who you truly are. And that was early. I mean, and our arguments were always big, too big, even when we were dating. And then afterwards, it was like a whole lot of loving. And, as you go through therapy, I know that there are terms for all of these things now.
Mhm.
But at the time, it was like, well, that was really, really bad. But, look, we're going on a trip to Mexico. We're going to a concert and a comedy show, and we're having a really fancy dinner, and we're doing all the things. And it was like, oh, so he really loves me. And just because we had such that bad moment doesn't mean that that's who he is. This is who he is, and I don't think that that's healthy.
Got you. Yeah. And how long were you married? How long were you married?
We we got together in 2014 and we moved in pretty quickly, 14 or 15. And then our divorce actually just finalized um last year, like in the
Mhm.
spring.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Understood.
But we've been separated for a year before that.
Got
So,
you. Got you. Now, this isn't part of the question because as we talk, I'm just like I want to ask you this because I've seen this online and it seems like this is a a big question. A lot of people want to know sh- is divorce like when you're separated?
mhm.
Do you think it's okay to date when you're separated, especially if they're taking forever with the paperwork and because I've been through a similar thing where my ex-wife, we were already separated, but she just refused to sign a paper. And I'm like,
Like, or we're going back and forth. We can't agree on anything. And,
yeah,
you
the amount of
know,
money I spent was crazy trying to just to get her. I'm like, I just need a signature. Like it's
let's
over.
just be done.
Yeah.
I think timing is very important. I don't think it's necessarily wrong for people to date when they're separated and going through the divorce, because at this point, I would hope, you know, you're not getting back together, right? But also, like, are you healed? Is this just a rebound?
Yeah.
Or is this like, I mean, I am like really good at being married. Love being married. I love being in a relationship. I mean, if we go together, we basically married. Like, I know how to be a wife.
Yeah.
That is I know how to be a wife and a mom. That's my superpower. I was raised by matriarchs that take care of their men and the
Mhm.
children and the house. That's what I do. And so in the beginning, I talked to somebody, and it didn't last very long, maybe 3 or 4 months, right? And I realized I was just jumping right back into wifey.
Mhm.
Like, if you come stay the night, like you're coming over, the kids are going to be with my mom. I've got the towels on the bed. I got the shower running. When you say you about to exit, the shower's turned on. I made a meal. We're about to sit down.
Yeah.
After you finish showering, I'm gonna have the plates made. What movie you want to watch, the candles is lit. Like, and that's just who I am.
Yeah.
And he was like, yes. And I felt myself very quickly feeling like I'm not married again. I
Mm.
think it's important in the beginning to date, like go out, let somebody take you out to a dinner, and you don't have to go back to the house, or, and that we did that for our first couple of days. But then after that, it was like, okay, well, you can just come to my house, I'll come to your house, whatever. I think you should like let somebody court you. And maybe, we can go back to the days of like, I feel like at first when Steve Harvey said 90
90
days,
days.
or
Yeah.
I feel like when he first said that, we were like, that's crazy. Now I'm like, maybe it should be 180. Like, for real. And if you can't afford that financially, if you can't have the conversation like you take care of a date, I take care of a date, or we split a date, maybe you really shouldn't be dating right now.
Yeah.
I feel like there are ways to be creative in dating, but um, when it's fresh, you're angry, you're going to be triggered, you're not going to realize it, and somebody's going to do or say something or suggest you go somewhere, especially when it's been a long-term marriage,
Yeah. Yeah.
suggest you go somewhere like, oh, let's go eat at this place. And immediately you're going to be like,
Hmm.
I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. And they're like, what? I already made reservations or something. You're like, mm-mm, because me and my husband used to go there,
Yeah.
or I don't want to, you drive a certain way. Like, cause, our marriages are like,
Yeah. Yeah.
we drive a certain direction. This is our pattern. This is what we do. And now you in the car with your new boo and you driving a certain way, and all of a sudden you feel a certain way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, a song comes on the radio and you're like, ooh, flashbacks, turn that off.
Yeah.
You got to
Understood.
heal. You got to heal. You can't just jump right in.
Yeah.
I mean, to each his own, but that seems like toxic chasing toxic.
Yeah. For sure. I know. I agree because I was married almost 15 years, so it's just like,
Yeah.
that, but it's
It's
yeah.
almost like you want to just move to a new city.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Like,
Just yeah.
like, and for me, it's really hard because he's such a big presence in the community. There are certain places that I know I can't go because he's probably hosting it. He's probably there working, and I'm not interested in, one, by law, we cannot be in the same place. But two, I really don't want to be in the same place. Like, it's weird. That's awkward. I will no longer be having fun.
Understood. No, I
Yeah.
respect that. It's one of those things that come with divorce that, sometimes
Hmm.
so it happens. I do want to ask, what were some of the biggest misconceptions people had about your divorce?
Oh, we were a perfect marriage.
Mhm.
We were the perfect marriage. We were picture perfect. We had beautiful pictures. We always did family photo shoots. We hosted Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter. And, we had businesses, and I would go to his events and, different banquets and things. And it was,
Yeah.
smile for the camera. And so people were just kind of like, he came out of nowhere, like, oh my God, I can't believe this and what's going on. And though he is on his own recovery path, I'm a survivor of domestic violence. And when I share that, people are like, really? But he's such a great guy. And he's this and that. And I'm like, yeah, well, he is. But in our relationship, this is what happened. And this is my truth. And this is why I had to go. And people just, one, they automatically assume like you're trying to gouge them for everything. That's a huge misconception.
Mhm.
We just kind of amicably split. Nobody gouged anybody for anything. If we couldn't agree, we just dissolved it. And what you had, you keep. What I had, I keep. And we went our merry little way. It took forever to get to that.
Mhm.
And I feel like another misconception is like, uh maybe you were just with him to have the baby, and then once you had your son, you were, ready to go. And it was a kind of weird thing to me because I am a successful and very beautiful and intelligent woman. Like, I could find the mailman to help me have a baby. I don't have to be in a 10-year relationship to get a baby, and then I think, friendships change. And I don't know if that's like a misconception, but it is definitely a thing.
Yeah, of
Like, you, it is hard as a single person then to go and hang with your married friends.
course.
Some not as hard, but Others like, mm, it's weird now. Like we always hung out as a couple. Like I don't know if y'all still talking to him, kind of
Oh,
thing. Others are like maybe, he would have female friends that were married and I became friends with them. And then now that we're divorced, it's kind of like, I don't know if I really want to be friends with her because she was his friend first. It's like custody.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like a custody battle. Like who gets custody of which friends?
Yeah.
And that was really hard. I just feel like people expect for you to be. I think another misconception is that I was very happy. I was not sad when I got divorced. I was very happy. I mean, it did felt like losing a family member.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was it was definitely hard, but there was so much more freedom to just be myself and like down to like eating what you want to eat or
Hmm.
cooking, French style green beans or whole cut green beans, wearing what you want to wear, wearing your hair how you want to wear your hair. I cut all my hair off. When we met, my hair was down my back
Hmm.
and it's growing now. My kids have an emotional attachment to it, but it's still a lot shorter. And people just automatically assume that you're depressed and down and out and sad. I was definitely finding myself again,
Yeah.
but I was happy. I was happy in that process
Hmm.
and definitely much closer to God than I felt like I was when I was begging for the signs.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow. Yeah, there is a freedom and
Yeah.
there, you really get to find yourself again because
Hmm.
with marriage, you do have to, kind of give and take kind of thing, yeah.
Hmm. And
So
then you're like, wait, what do I like?
yeah, and then you got to know you find yourself all over again. You're like, I'm not even that person I was, 20 years ago now.
Not her. You be at first, I think, depending on your age,
Yeah.
maturity
Yeah.
level, I think at first you might, some people go wild and be like, I'm just gonna go back to the 20-year-old somebody. But when you've been married for a decade or more, you're like, I'm not, I can't do that. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be up in the club. I'm not at Blue, I'm not doing all of that.
Yeah.
But also, what am I doing?
Right. Right.
What do I like? Like, how do I like my food? When you shower together, then you're like, what is the water temperature I like? Because I usually try to get it right in the spot where for us. And now I'm like, what's my temperature?
Mm,
Like there's so many little things, but I found a lot of joy in like discovering those things instead of being heartbroken about it.
yeah, for sure. Because I
Mhm.
think we don't give, singles enough credit for being single. Like it's beautiful being single. Like people be like, "Oh, I want to get married." I'm like, "Look, man, it's not for everybody." And you get
Mm-mm.
sleep. You can, when you eat, everybody eat. When you
The
go out, everybody
sleep.
goes out.
Right.
It's
Oh
just
my
you.
God, the sleep. I did have to adjust to eating by myself. At first, I found myself going to the bar a lot and eating at the bar, even if I wasn't having a drink. It was just because there were people around. But for some reason, sitting at a table, I felt like, what do I do?
Mm,
Like there's nobody for me to talk to. I'm not going to just like spark up this whole conversation with my server. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? And you don't want to be scrolling your phone. It took some time for
yeah.
me to kind of enjoy that and be in my thoughts and like be okay there. But
Mhm.
sleep, man, that is an underrated beauty.
Yeah.
It's so good to spread out in the
Yeah.
bed.
What does healing look like for you now on your own? And I guess we kind of touched on that a little bit. And how has
Yeah.
divorce changed your views on love and relationships?
Mm. Healing is day by day.
Yeah.
Therapy for sure.
Yeah.
And I've at some points been where I need to see a therapist 2 days a week,
Hmm.
texting on the other 2 days out of the week, and then once a week. It kind of depends on the season. The colder season, I was definitely kind of like, not going outside. You just feel a little kind of down sometimes or like in your thoughts a lot. Especially when you're over 40, and you're single, you're like, and a black woman, you're like, am I supposed to be married? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
am I like did I miss it? So, healing for sure is therapy. And then of course, like what we've just talked about, like finding out what you like, getting to know yourself again, journaling, taking care of your body.
Yeah.
Like, when you're married, unless you're the type that is kind of sometimes you step into those phases where you work out together as a couple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but sometimes we just fat and happy. And we were definitely kind of that couple. Like we'd go eat and
Yeah.
we loved each other. We knew who we were. It didn't matter. You gain weight, I gain weight. It's cool. I know what you look like. I love you. Get some bigger pants. And my healing has looked like eating better, taking better care of my body, doing yoga, walking. I go to the rec center to do water aerobics, drinking teas, self-care, like recognizing that my therapist helped me recognize that I didn't know what self-care was because she's like, what have you done for yourself? And I was like, I ate, I took a shower, I went to bed on time last night, and she's like, those are basic needs.
Yeah.
Like what is self-care, so taking time to like maybe I'll go get a facial, and
Mm-hmm.
do something for myself, like, or journaling and sitting outside and having a nice cup of tea and taking in a breeze and just breathing and not looking at my phone and
Mm-hmm.
spending time in meditation. And then and I had to go back and I call her Big Eve and Little Eve. And I had to go back to Little Eve, who I just say that's her, not that she was little,
Yeah.
but Little Eve was in the marriage. And I had to go back and think like, what would Big Eve now free and healing do or say for Little Eve
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so that I felt reconciled?
Mm-hmm.
Like, go to her. And in this instance where you guys had this big argument, go to little Eve and say to her, girl, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
Nobody has the right to put their hands on you. Come on. Big Eve, go push him into the back room and lock the door and get little Eve and grab her purse and get in a car and drive her wherever.
Yeah.
Go sit down with little Eve and tell little Eve, you're worthy.
Mm-hmm.
And authentic Eve is enough.
Yes. I love it.
Just the way you are, like just be authentic and that's enough. And if it's not his enough, it's enough for you, and you have a choice to say this is not for me when you're dating.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I have to, because I'm not going to be like, I regret it and I hate that this happened, and and I was so hurt and he hurt me so much. There were some really bad times, but also I now know how strong I am. And I go back and I talk to her and I say, girl, you strong.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got to be this strong no more.
I
And
love
we ain't never gonna be this kind of strong again. So
it.
come on.
I know that's
Get
right.
that. You want that purse, get that picture, and let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And when I have those moments when I go down memory lane and I'm like, oh my God, that was so bad, or like I can't believe that happened, or maybe I should have done something different. I just go back in my head. I visualize myself going back to that moment and saying what I feel like I should have said, or standing in front of little Eve and saying it for her, or just rescuing her and taking her out of that situation. And then you just healing is also just recreating those new memories. Go to the restaurant y'all used to go to, make a new memory.
Yeah.
Drive down that street, go to that part of town, do something for yourself, do something fun, erase the old memories, bring in something new for yourself. And I try to just actively do that. I don't know if I have a routine of when, but every once in a while I'm like, oh, I'm going to do something to create a new memory in an old space. And for me, that's healing.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
This has definitely been deep on so many levels. I want to take a moment to speak for our sponsor for Love Fearlessly, the Intimacy
Yeah.
Card Deck. Intimacy card deck. You can check it out and grab your copy at scarytoremarry.com. So this is a 30 card intimacy card deck. So if you're on a date, if you're on a date with your spouse or your significant other, or maybe you're just on a date with someone, you take the card deck with you. It's something that my wife and I compiled together. I
I
don't know, a
love
lot
it.
of people have intimacy. I mean, card decks, but this is from a husband and wife duo. So we kind of have that balance to go with it. So Eve, I want to ask you a question from the deck.
Let's do it. I was waiting for my question.
Okay, here's the question. Who provided a safe space for your feelings in childhood?
Hmm. Safe space for my feelings. I think my older sister and my older uh cousin, she's like my sister, we were kind of raised, when you black, your cousins and your brothers and sisters.
Yeah, you know, right?
And and for sure my I went to a Montessori school, so I was in school first, second, and third grade was with the same teacher in the same classroom.
Hmm.
And I'll never forget Miss Davis, like ever, ever, ever. And she was always the safe space for me. Like I talk too much. I don't know if you can tell. And she made me a leader, and she would tell me like to talk to her. And then my sisters would always, they were older. I'm the late baby. I came 13 years later from
Hmm.
the youngest.
Hmm.
And so they're all, 13, 16, 18, 20 years older. So they were kind of like second parents, not only siblings. And they would be like, come talk to me. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what you're going through, And it takes a while for you to learn that because, at first our safe space is our friends, and that is definitely not the right.
I know, right? That only lasts for a little while.
That only lasts for a little while, then you realize that was terrible advice.
They learning just like you, right? They learn. Oh my God. Uh great, no, great answer. I think that's a good question to ask. So
And
especially
that's a
from
good
yourself.
conversation spark, like for if you're on a date to like start to get to know, or let you know if somebody don't even care about getting to know you. Like
Exactly. Exactly.
you ask the question, they're like, "Oh yeah, my mom," and then that's it. You're like, "Oh,
Yeah, yep. So much for this
dessert.
question.
Move on to dessert and get on out."
I got 29 more questions if you want them. I want to jump into our bonus round real quick. So this is Eve Uncut. I don't think we got to do this last time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we had our co-host, we had a lot of stuff going on at the time. So now it's just me and you, and we're
Yeah,
gonna do our bonus round. So this is Eve Uncut. There's no wrong answer.
let's do it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. What is the biggest mistake you see women make when it comes to dating?
Mm. I think we just settle.
Mm.
I think, like if you, I don't label people, but if you like nice things, you like nice things. And we get with guys and it's like, well, I'm low maintenance and I don't require a lot. Girl, you want a nice purse. You want flowers every week. You want to go to nice dinners. You want to get dressed up for no reason. Like, and it's like sometimes in dating, you get so frustrated with seeing the same sad love song or the unmatched, and you have such a desperate desire to have that companionship or have that person or just be in a relationship that you're like, well, he ain't all terrible. Like he don't hit all the marks, but he hit some of them, and it's like you got to have those non-negotiables, and you got to be bold enough for yourself to say, I can't settle. This is what I want. And if this is not something that's good for you, this is not for us. Because you're just going to end up in a divorce, child.
Yeah, right.
That's just how we
Absolutely.
know.
Yeah, the non-negotiables, you gotta stick with them. And a lot of times people do, they stick around. They're like, I like him to be 6 feet. He's only 5'8".
Right. Like I really wanted a guy that was like 6'2", but
Yeah.
it's okay because I just won't wear heels.
Yeah, right.
That's silly. That's a silly thing. Men like to see women in heels and we like to put them on. I mean, some don't, some
Yeah.
women don't, but for the most part,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Uh, who makes a better spouse? Someone never married or someone divorced?
Oh, maybe somebody divorced. Gosh, remarried or divorced? I mean, never married or divorced. Divorced. They
Oh,
just have to be healed.
yeah, for sure. Mhm.
I think if we're talking about a whole single person that's never been married and a whole divorced person, I would say divorced because they've already walked the paths that they don't want to walk.
Mhm.
They've already seen the red flags and burnt with
Yeah,
those bags that went set on fire. And I feel like when you remarry and you are whole and happy and ready to do so, and you find that person, like you're not gonna marry the wrong person again. Like it just ain't happening.
yeah, right. Yeah.
Like I've already been through this. It was too much, and
Mhm.
it's not worth it. You know, and they kind of already know how to navigate that. I mean, no knocks on people never being married, but for sure, as a divorced woman, I wouldn't want to marry somebody. I don't think I would want to marry somebody that never been married, or at least engaged, child.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no wrong answer. I just like to hear people's perspective, but I hear you. What's harder for you to say? Is it A, I apologize, B, I need help, C, I love you, or D, I was wrong?
Mm, I need help. I
That's
need
fine.
help is hard for me to say.
Yeah.
Because I'm the person. I do. I do for everybody. I take care of everybody and I take care of myself and I do all the things. And then, when you're battling with feelings of not being worthy or not being enough, you definitely are like, I'm not asking nobody to help me because I need to be able to take care of this.
Yeah.
And it's counterproductive.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
in therapy. I'm working on it. But I need help is definitely hard. I do have a circle, of people that sometimes they know I need help before I say it, but I do have a circle of people that I can be like, okay, I'm struggling. I,
Gotcha.
I need help.
That's
And then probably after that, I was wrong because I'm never wrong, child. I'm never
Yeah, right.
wrong.
I got it right. Y'all wrong.
I mean, you're wrong.
Yeah, right.
Even my wrongs are right. I
You
don't
can
know.
listen because I am right. That's funny. Nah, I hear you. I, last question.
Okay.
Is it easier to love yourself or someone else?
Oof. For me, someone else. I am learning more how to love myself better, which is why I am happily single. But I am definitely that typical codependent, people pleaser.
Yeah.
I know how to love somebody else. I told you I'm dating a guy for 3, 4 dates, and I'm like, let me cater to you. Like I know I love giving love. I love loving. I love, nurturing people. I'm a doula and a midwife, like taking
Right.
care of people. Like and I've always kind of been that way. Like if you're upset with me, I'm upset with me. So I need to figure out how to make you happy and love on you so that I can love me too. And
Yeah.
my therapist reminds me, like, they feelings is they feelings. If they mad, you can apologize, and that's it. We're
Right.
not begging nobody. We're not, we're not crying for hours. We're not asking over and over, please forgive me. Like,
Mhm.
accept that you made a mistake, apologize should you feel like it,
Yeah.
and you still are worthy and enough.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
until I feel strong in that, child, I feel like somebody walk in the door. I don't know if I feel strong right now. I have a good awareness of it, but I don't know if somebody walked through the door today if it'll switch up on me.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I'm in a men's group at my church, and there's seven of us, and we had to take this love quiz,
Hmm.
and six of the seven of us are pleasers. We rank the highest on pleasers, and the guy who was single, his pleaser, he wasn't a pleaser, but all the married guys were.
I feel like that is definitely something that you learn in marriage too.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, you can meet single people. I feel like in having conversations on dates, I've met single people and they've said like, well, you know, you got to think of yourself first. Like I'm doing this, that, and the other. I take care of myself first. And I'm like, oh, because first I take care of my husband, then I take care of my kids, then I take care of my clients, then I take care of the cat and the dog. And at the end of the day, then I take care of me.
Yep. Yep. I hear you.
We got to stop it. We got to stop it.
Yeah. It's more
We need
common.
we need a self-care retreat.
Hey, there we go. There we go. Sounds like a plan.
Yes.
Well, Eve, this has been a phenomenal episode. Thank you so much once again for
Thank
stopping by
you.
and always, giving us wisdom, always giving us just a
Yes.
load of information that's going to be able to help the viewers and the listeners. Let everyone know how they can get in touch with you.
I am Eve Birth Services on Instagram and Facebook. And that's also my email, evebirthservices@gmail.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'll have everything linked in the description below. So you heard it here, Brave Hearts community. Go and connect with Eve for
Yes.
doula services. And
And
go,
I'm single.
and she's single. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah. So I wonder, so do like, is there like maybe I give like a discount code like Sean or something, like if they qualify,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
20% off.
20%. Okay. Sounds good to me. Y'all, y'all heard it here.
Whoa. Given.
Well, if you are listening to this via podcast or via YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, share this with a friend. Like
Yes.
I said before, put it in your group chat because you never know who's struggling. Somebody could be going through a divorce. Watch this episode and everything changes for them. The light goes off and they just realize,
Okay.
like, oh, I really needed this episode. So share this with a friend.
Okay.
If you are listening to this via podcast, leave a rating and review. By doing so, put you in a drawing for a free Amazon gift card. All right, Bravehearts community, this has been a phenomenal episode. This is Sean Heineman with my special guest.
Peace. Thank you so much. This was so fantastic. The hour goes by so quick.
So fast. You might have to come back a third time, just
I will. You let me
all
know. All you got
right.
to do is throw it on my calendar.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks again, Eve. We'll talk soon. Take care, people.